constant.
So you can see the velocity of the object with time is increasing. Suppose initially it is 0, 5, 7, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So increase in velocity is called positive acceleration. So we know it that this portion of the graph actually represents positive acceleration. This portion of the graph actually represents positive acceleration. And look at this part of the graph. The velocity is actually fixed, is constant during this time. So there is no change in velocity. No change in velocity means acceleration of the object is 0. Is this clear?
Ji sir, this is clear.
Okay, so 1 second. So let me mark it because this is velocity is 20. So now here the velocity is 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, you can say 10, 8, 6, you can say 4, 2, and here velocity is 0. So actually during this track, this
It's decelerating.
graph actually represents decrease in velocity. Decrease in velocity means negative acceleration or deceleration. Is this clear?
Ji sir, this is clear.
Okay. Now suppose like this portion, for this portion, let's calculate the gradient of this graph. So gradient of the graph is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Along y-axis it is velocity, so it is v2 minus v1 over x2 minus x1 is t2 minus t1. So v2 minus v1 is change in velocity, delta v. t2 minus t1 is change in time. So now you can see change in velocity with time. This is change in velocity with time, and change in velocity with time is called acceleration. It means
ठीक है.
gradient of velocity time graph gives acceleration. Is this clear?
Ji sir, this is clear.
Okay, let's calculate whether these are positive accelerations, negative accelerations, or zero acceleration. Suppose this is first part, second part, and third part. So for first part, let's consider this point where suppose time is 5. Here time is 10. Here time is 15. So the coordinate for this point would be, for x-axis it is 5 and y-axis is 20. For this, x is 10, y is 20. For this point, x is 15, y is 0, and for this point it is 0 comma 0. So now let's calculate the gradient of first part. It would be, gradient for first part is y2 minus y1, 20 minus 0, over x2 minus x1, 5 minus 0. So 20 minus 0 is 20 over 5. So acceleration is positive acceleration. It means the gradient of first portion gives positive acceleration.
ठीक है सर.
So now let's consider the second part. For second part, m2 would be equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 So the gradient of second part is 0. It means whenever the object is moving with a constant velocity, its acceleration would be 0. Is this clear?
जी सर. This is clear sir.
एक्चुअली हमने पहले फिजिक्स के हिसाब से चीजें देख ली थी, अब हम उसको मैथ की शक्ल में देख रहे हैं. Is this clear?
जी sir, this is clear.
Okay, now let's see whether it is negative or not. So for third part, m would be, oh sorry, y2 minus y1, it is 0 minus 20 over x2 minus x1. So during this portion, acceleration is negative.
जी sir.
So we learned that gradient of velocity time graph gives acceleration, and for acceleration the graph would be in upward direction. For zero acceleration it would be horizontal, and for deceleration it will have a negative gradient. So the next thing which is related with velocity time graph is area of velocity time graph. Area of velocity time graph. Let's assume the same diagram.
ठीक है sir.
So this diagram is actually trapezium. So area of trapezium is 1 by 2 sum of parallel sides into height. So this side and this side. Both sides are parallel, and this is the height of this is the height. So sum of parallel sides means it starts from 0. Oh, sorry. So along x-axis, and height is actually velocity. Along y-axis we have velocity, and along x-axis we have time. So t1 plus t2, you can say it is some time t, and it is v. So velocity into time is what? Okay, 1 second. So number has no units, time has second, and velocity has meter per second. So second is second, seconds are cancelled. So we are left with only meters. मीटर किसकी यूनिट होती है?
Sir, meters per second,
only
meter
meters.
distance की होती है sir.
Only meters.
So meter distance होती है.
It means whenever you would calculate the area of velocity time graph, actually this is the distance traveled by the object.
जी sir.
Is this clear?
Yes sir, this is clear.
Okay. So distance traveled by the object is actually the area of the graph. Gradient of velocity time graph is the acceleration of the object, and area of the graph is distance traveled by the object. Clear?
जी sir, clear.